Hey friends, this is Kruti Jai Pancholi, Assistant Professor in LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in Department of Electronics and Communication. This video is about subject fiber optic communication. So friends, till now we learned about the structure of the fiber as well as the degradation in the signal. We have also studied about what is the dispersion, how it takes place. So now, let us start some another journey. So it is about starting the new chapter. It is the optical sources and coupling. As you know that the signals are traveling in the light form. So we have to always convert the electrical signal into the optical form. For that, we need a various light source. Some of the light sources are LED and the laser, which we can use to convert the electrical form into the optical form. Now, in this video, we will learn about the semiconductor physics background, fundamentals of the optical sources. Now, we know that this material which is used for the light sources that are in the semiconductor material. Optical transmission which will convert the electrical input signal into the corresponding optical signal, and the optical signal that will be launched into the fiber. And this optical source that is the major component in an optical transmitter. The popularly used optical sources are the LED and semiconductor laser diode, that is the LED. Now, the popularly used are LED and semiconductor laser diode. Now, what are the characteristics of the light sources used for the communication? So, conventional PN junction is called the homojunction, as the same semiconductor material is used on both sides junction. Now, to couple the large amount of the power into an optical fiber, the emitting area should be small. To reduce the material dispersion in an optical fiber link, the output spectrum should be narrow. The power requirement for its operation must be low. The light source that must be compatible with the modern solid state devices. The output power must be directly modulated by varying the input current to the device. Better linearity of the prevent harmonics and intermodulation distortion. So, the high coupling efficiency, high optical output power, high reliability, low weight and low cost. So, these all are the characteristics of the light source material. So, types of the light source used in the optical fiber. So, light emitting diode and the laser diode. Now, we are concentrating on the light emitting diode. So, conventional PN junction is called the homojunction, which is in that the semiconductor material which will be used in both the side of the junction. Now, this electron-hole recombination that will be occurs in relatively layer, that is the 10 micrometer. Now, as the carriers are not confined to the immediate vicinity of the junction, hence the high current density cannot be realized. So, the carrier confinement problem. What is a carrier confinement in the optical form? So, optical confinement, that is preventing the absorption of the emitted radiation by material surrounding the PN junction. So, it can be resolved by sandwiching a thin layer of 0.1 micrometer between the p-type and the n-type layer. So this is the optical confinement that is used while the fabrication of the LED diodes that may be done. The middle layer that may or may not be dot. The carrier confinement that occurs due to the band gap discontinuity of the junction, and such a junction which is known as the heterojunction, and the device which is used providing the heterojunction, it is known as the double heterostructure. So double heterostructure. So in any optical communication system, when the requirement is of the bit rate, okay, that is the 100 by 2 the MB megabits per second, optical power intense of the microwatt. So LEDs are the best suitable optical source. Now the structure of the LED, heterojunction. So heterojunction, that is the interface between the two adjacent single crystal semiconductor with a different band gap. There are two types of the heterojunction. Isotype, that is NN or PP, or anti-isotype, it is the PN. Double heterojunction. So in order to achieve the efficient confinement of emitted radiation, double heterojunctions that are used in the LED structure. So it is formed by the dissimilar semiconductors. The DH, that is formed by two different semiconductors on each side of the active junction. So here in the diagram you can see that there is a band gap that is shown, okay, and the two materials that is to be used, okay. So this is the double heterojunction structure for the LED. So the cross hatch region which you have seen, that represents the energy level of the free charge. Recombination that can be occurs in an active INGA ASP layer. The two materials have different band gap energy and a different refractive indices. The changes in the band gap energies which will create the potential barrier for both the holes and the electrons. And the free charges can recombine in a narrow, well-defined active layer inside. So, this kind of the double heterojunction structure will confine both the holes and the electron to a narrow active layer. Now what happens when the forward bias is applied? There will be a large amount of the carrier which will be injected into the active region where they are efficiently confined. So carrier recombination that will occurs in the small active region, so leading to an efficient devices. The advantage of this DH structure is that the active region has a higher refractive index than the materials on the either side. Hence, light emission occurs in an optical waveguide which serves to narrow the output beam. The configuration of the LED. So, types of the LED used in the optical fiber links, that are the surface emitting LED and the edge emitting LED. Very first, surface emitting LED. Now, in this kind of the LED, the plane of the active light emitting region that is oriented perpendicular to the axis of the fiber. So, a DH diode is grown on this N-type of the substrate at the top of the diode. A circular well is etched through the substrate of the device, and then after the fiber is connected to accept the emission. So here you can see that this is the structure, and over here how the fiber that is injected, okay, into this kind of the light sources. Okay, so here the substrate is there, okay, metal contact is there, okay. Now here the layer, that is the NPP layer, is there, fine. So this way the active region is also there between the N and P, and how the fiber that is inserted, okay, that we can see from the diagram. So at the back of the device is a gold heat sink, and the current flows in the P type of the material and forms the small circular active region, resulting in the intense beam of the light. So diameter of the circular active area, it's 50 micrometer. Thickness of the circular active area, it's 2.5 micrometer. Current density, it is 2000 ampere per centimeter square. Half power. Emission pattern, that is isotropic, having a beam width is 120 degree. Now, the isotropic emission pattern from the surface emitting LUT is a Lamboscian pattern. So in Lamboscian pattern, the emitting surface is uniformly bright, but its projected area diminishes as cos theta, and where the theta is the angle between the viewing direction and the normal to the surface, which will be shown in the figure. So this beam intensity is maximum along the normal. So here we can see that how the beam that will be formed using this kind of the LED. So it makes a pattern, it is the Lamboscian pattern. Okay, so this is about the surface emitting LED. So this is the Lamboscian pattern. Okay, now in this the power is reduced by the 50% of its peak when theta is 60 degree. Therefore, the total half power beamwidth is what? It's a 120 degree, and the radiation pattern that decides the coupling efficiency of LED. So it is about the surface emitting. Now the next is the edge emitting LEDs. It's ELEDs. Okay. So what is the ELEDs? Now to reduce whatever the loss that is caused by the absorption in the active layer, and here we want the beam that should be the more directional, so that the light is collected from the edges of the LED, and which device is known as the emitting the LED, okay, or the edge emitting LED we can say. So over here you can see the structure, okay, that how the particular the light that will be collected from the edges, okay. So this is the diagram for the edge emitting LED, which consists of the active junction region, and which is the source of the incoherent light, and the two guiding layer. The refractive index of the guiding layer is lower than the active region, but higher than the outer surrounding material. Thus, a waveguide channel is formed and optical radiation is directed into the fiber. Now, this is the diagram of the radiation from the ELED. So now, this beam, okay, that should be the more directed compared to the SLED. So emission pattern that is a more concentrated. So directional or providing the improved coupling efficiency. The beam is the Lamboscian in the plane parallel to the junction, but diverges the more slowly in the plane perpendicular to the junction. So in this plane, the beam divergence that is limited in the parallel plane, and there is no beam confinement, and the radiation is the Lamboscian. So to maximize the useful output power, a reflector may be placed at the end of the diode opposite to the emitting angle. So linear relationship between the optical output and the current. Spectral width is 25 to 400 nanometer. For lambda is equal to 0.8 to 0.9 micrometer. The modulation bandwidth that is much large, and it is not affected by catastrophic gradation mechanism, and that is why it is more reliable. The features of the LED that are having the better coupling efficiency, Then as a surface emitter, ELEDs are temperature sensors. What are the usage of the ELED? LEDs are suited for the short range, narrow and medium wave bandwidth link. Suitable for digital system up to 140 megabits per second. Long distance analog link. So this is about the light source, that is the LED, and the semiconductor physics background. So thank you very much everyone.